Thank you. You'll notice that I'm going to speak without notes this morning. That doesn't mean I'm an extraordinarily good speaker. That just means I'm ill prepared. Good morning and welcome everyone this morning on Memorial Day. I'm sure there are those of us that are missing because we're out decorating grave sites and doing other Memorial Day activities, but I'm not going to bore you with a long and involved history of Memorial Day. Suffice to say that people have been putting flowers on the graves of dead warriors for centuries and centuries, and it just seems like the right way to remember, the sacrifice. Today we put flags mostly on veterans' graves, and if you've ever seen the National Cemetery in Washington, D.C., and there's just rows and rows of grave markers, and on Memorial Day there are rows and rows of flags that the military gets out and they put their feet together and they go 1 foot over, close, plant the flag. 1 foot over, close, plant the flag, and they just go down these rows until all of the soldiers' graves have flags on them. And I noticed here in Yuma that there have people who place flags in various places on graves and so forth there in Yuma. So it goes a long way. Back to the mic. Let me do this. Goodness. Okay. The freedom we have to sit in this room today is due to someone who gave their life that we might have this freedom. And the freedoms that we have to just up and go to the grocery store without worrying about going to the market and being terrorized. And the fact that we have given ourselves the freedom to love one another and get along with one another. And that's not just in this country, that's all over the world. There are countries where, you just have freedoms. And you have freedoms because somebody out there put their life on the line so that you could keep these freedoms. And some of them came back, and some of them didn't. The flowers in Flanders fields, the poppies that we see. And all of these are remembrances of men and women who gave their lives for their country and for the cause. And these men and women, though they lay low, raise up in our hearts and raise up in our prayers and raise up in our national policy and so forth. We have so much. We don't even begin to believe on a daily basis when you get up in the morning and go through your day, how much of this is on account of that veteran that didn't make it home. And we remember these guys and these gals because they live in our hearts, and they live in our prayers, and they live in our thoughts. And every Memorial Day we remember them officially by putting something on their grave to remember it by. And to talk about it is one thing, but to feel it in your heart, to feel the gratitude in your heart. Unity is big on gratitude. We are grateful, totally grateful for everything that the Good Spirit gives us today. And I don't know about you, but my Good Spirit speaks through the actions of and the thoughts and the words of other people. And it just almost breaks my heart to think about not the guys that are out of their misery, that have passed on, but the guys that have come back and they're not whole anymore. And the things that we need to do to keep them uplifted and keep them in our thoughts and our prayers, and to help them out whenever we get the chance. You know, they're not dead yet, but they didn't come home the same way they left. Now, I didn't come home the same way I left. I didn't go. I didn't get the chance to go to Fallujah or go to Afghanistan, and I'm grateful for that. God put me in a different place to do different things during those periods of time, and then He retired me so I wouldn't be able to go. If you're standing in the army and they're yelling for volunteers that need to go to Fallujah or whatever, you'd be surprised at the number of hands that go up. You know, I want to go. I want to go do my thing. I want to go and protect my country and protect my country's rights. And they volunteer to go, and they go. And sometimes they don't make it back, and sometimes they do. But today I'd like to end this talk on something positive. Even though they have passed, according to Unity and the way Unity thinks, their energy has gone out. And think of the energy that is behind dying for your country. And you just release that energy into the Great Spirit. And think of all that power that these men have released into the Great Spirit, and these women. And they keep committing and keep committing. And in order for us today to be able to do the things we love to do, and do the things other people love to do, we not only owe it to the veterans, but we owe it to the guys that came home. And we owe it to the American citizens, you know. And we owe it to the people that are out there putting flowers on graves today, you know. I owe Unity a big debt, but I owe my country an even bigger debt that I owe. I may have paid for 22 years as an active duty soldier, but in my heart I still owe my country and the men and women who fight for my country, you know, my gratitude, my respect, my honor, you know, things I bring to church, things I take home. It's all a great big part of God's beautiful world. And just because there are sad parts and parts that make us cry, that doesn't mean that it's not just a beautiful world anyway. Because there's a reason for all of this. There's a reason. And we're sitting here this morning. So, if Jean will give me a cue as to what comes next. Meditation?
You want to do meditation?
Yeah, let's do a meditation. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. And relax. Go to that place in your mind where it's peaceful and quiet, where there are no arguments, no fights, no dissents, where everyone loves everyone and they show it. And quiet. And in the quiet we remember. And in the quiet we honor. And in the quiet we respect. And we hold our hearts up to the Great Spirit, that He might bless us and keep us and hold us in the palm of His hand. Take another deep breath and imagine yourself in a big green field with summer flowers and a light breeze, and look up at the sky. This is all God's gift to you, free no strings attached. And you can just sit and enjoy and meditate on how much good there is in your life and how grateful you are. Take another deep breath, and when you're ready, come back